Respect is like air. You don't notice it until it's gone. Did you know that 9 out of 10 people say they've lost respect for someone due to their poor habits and behaviors? In today's fast-paced, social media-driven world, earning and maintaining the respect of others has become more challenging than ever before. That's why in this video, we'll dive into 4 awful habits that can quickly erode the respect others have for you, and how the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy can help you avoid these pitfalls. By understanding and applying these Stoic principles, you'll be able to command the respect you deserve in both your personal and professional life. So if you're ready to learn how to cultivate a more respectable persona, buckle up. This is going to be an eye-opening ride. Let's start with habit 1, gossiping. The first habit that can really erode people's respect for you is gossiping. Talking behind someone's back, spreading rumors, or sharing private information about others is a surefire way to make them lose trust in you. The Stoics had a lot to say about this. One of the key Stoic principles is that we should focus on what is within our control and not waste time and energy on things that are outside of our control. Gossiping falls firmly into the outside of our control category. When we gossip about others, we're essentially trying to control their reputation and how other people see them. But the Stoics would say that's not our business. We can't control how other people perceive someone else. That's up to them. All we can control is our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When someone gossips about us, the Stoics would say, the problem isn't the gossip itself, it's how we choose to respond to it. Do we get defensive and try to fight back? Do we get angry and start gossiping about the gossiper? Or do we take a step back, recognize that we can't control what other people say, and focus on being the best version of ourselves? The Stoic approach is to choose the latter. When we're faced with gossip, we can acknowledge it, but then let it go. We can focus on living with integrity and treating others with respect, regardless of what they say about us. When we do that, we actually end up earning more respect from those around us. People see that we're not easily rattled, that we have a strong sense of self, and that we're not willing to stoop to the level of petty gossip. So if you find yourself tempted to share some juicy information about a coworker or a friend, take a step back and ask yourself, is this really my business? Is this going to help me become a better person? Or is it just going to make me feel better temporarily at the expense of someone else's reputation? Remember, the Stoics believed that the only thing we can truly control is our own character. So focus on cultivating virtues like honesty, integrity, and self-control. And when you're faced with gossip, have the courage to rise above it. Habit 2, being unreliable. The second habit that can really undermine people's respect for you is being unreliable. If you're constantly late, if you don't follow through on your commitments, or if you're always making excuses, people are going to start to see you as someone they can't depend on. The Stoics had a lot to say about the importance of reliability and consistency. They believed that one of the key virtues was temperance, the ability to exercise self-control and discipline in our actions. Epictetus put it this way: first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. In other words, we need to be clear about our values and our commitments, and then have the discipline to follow through on them. One of the key Stoic practices that can help with this is the morning meditation. The Stoics would start each day by reflecting on their values and their goals, and then committing to acting in alignment with those values throughout the day. For example, that one of your core values is being a reliable and trustworthy person. Every morning you could take a few minutes to remind yourself of that value, and then make a conscious decision to show up on time, follow through on your commitments, and be someone that others can count on. Now, of course, life isn't always predictable, and sometimes things come up that are outside of our control. The Stoics recognized this, and they had a concept called the dichotomy of control, the idea that there are some things we can control and some things we can't. When it comes to being reliable, the Stoics would say that we can control our own actions and commitments, but we can't control external factors like traffic, unexpected emergencies, or other people's behavior. So if something unexpected comes up that prevents us from keeping a commitment, we can acknowledge that, apologize sincerely, and then refocus on being reliable in the future. The key is to avoid making excuses or blaming others. Instead, take responsibility for our own actions and do whatever we can to make good on our commitments. That's the kind of behavior that earns respect from others. So if you find yourself struggling with reliability, try implementing a morning meditation practice and really reflect on the kind of person you want to be. Then, throughout the day, make a conscious effort to show up as that person, someone who keeps their word, who follows through on their commitments, and who can be counted on. It may not be easy at first, but over time, it will become a habit. And as you start to build a reputation for reliability, you'll find that people start to respect and trust you more. Habit 3. Interrupting others. The third habit that can really erode people's respect for you is interrupting others. When we constantly cut people off, talk over them, or fail to listen, it sends the message that we don't value their time or their perspective. The Stoics had a lot to say about the importance of listening and respecting others. They believed that one of the key virtues was justice, the idea of treating others fairly and with respect. Epictetus put it this way: "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In other words, the Stoics recognized that listening is just as important, if not more so, than speaking. One of the key Stoic practices that can help with this is the pause and reflect technique. Whenever we feel the urge to interrupt someone or jump in with our own thoughts, the Stoics would encourage us to take a moment, pause, and reflect on whether what we're about to say is truly necessary or helpful. For example, that you're in a meeting and someone is presenting an idea. You might feel the urge to interrupt them and share your own thoughts or criticisms, but before you do, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to say really going to add value to the conversation, or am I just interrupting because I want to be heard? If the answer is that your input is genuinely valuable and will help move the conversation forward, then by all means share it. But if it's just a knee-jerk reaction or a desire to be the center of attention, then it's probably best to hold your tongue and let the other person finish. The Stoics also recognized that sometimes we need to actively work on our listening skills. They believed that one of the key practices was active listening, really focusing on what the other person is saying, asking clarifying questions, and trying to understand their perspective. Of course, breaking the habit of interrupting others isn't always easy. It requires a lot of self-awareness and discipline. But the Stoics would say that it's worth the effort. By cultivating the virtues of justice and temperance, and by practicing active listening and the pause and reflect technique, we can become the kind of communicator that others respect and trust. And that, in turn, can help us build stronger, more fulfilling relationships with the people in our lives. Habit 4. Complaining. The fourth and final habit that can really undermine people's respect for you is complaining. When we're constantly griping about our problems, our circumstances, or the people around us, it can make us come across as negative, entitled, and difficult to be around. The Stoics had a lot to say about the importance of maintaining a positive and resilient mindset, even in the face of adversity. They believed that one of the key virtues was courage, the ability to face challenges and difficulties with strength and determination. Marcus Aurelius put it this way, saying, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." If we want to be respected and trusted, we need to be intentional about the way we think about and respond to the challenges in our lives. One of the key Stoic practices that can help with this is the negative visualization technique. The Stoics would encourage us to regularly imagine the worst-case scenarios and then reflect on how we would respond to them. Imagine that you're facing a difficult work project or a challenging personal situation. Instead of immediately starting to complain about it, take a moment to imagine the absolute worst-case scenario. What's the most catastrophic thing that could happen? Once you've visualized that, take a step back and ask yourself, even if that worst-case scenario were to happen, how would I respond? What inner resources do I have that would help me get through it? The Stoics believed that by regularly engaging in this kind of negative visualization, we can build up our resilience and our ability to face challenges with courage and equanimity. We can learn to see difficulties not as something to complain about, but as opportunities to grow and become stronger. Another key Stoic practice is the morning meditation that we discussed earlier. As part of this practice, the Stoics would encourage us to reflect on our values and our goals, and then commit to acting in alignment with those values throughout the day. For example, that one of your core values is being a positive and resilient person. Every morning, you could take a few minutes to remind yourself of that value, and then make a conscious decision to approach the day's challenges with a positive and constructive mindset. When something difficult comes up, instead of immediately starting to complain, you can pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how can I respond to this in a way that's consistent with my values and my goals? The key is to avoid getting caught up in the negativity and the drama. Instead, focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. And by doing so, you can become the kind of person that others respect and admire. Of course, breaking the habit of complaining isn't always easy. It requires a lot of self-awareness and discipline. But the Stoics would say that it's worth the effort. By cultivating the virtues of courage and resilience, and by practicing negative visualization and morning meditation, we can become the kind of person that others see as positive, constructive, and worthy of respect. The 4 habits we've explored today can all be major obstacles to earning the respect of those around us. But the good news is, these are all habits that we have the power to change. By drawing on the wisdom of the Stoic philosophers, we can cultivate the virtues of integrity, reliability, justice, and courage, and become the kind of person that others see as worthy of respect. Remember, the Stoics believed that the only thing we can truly control is our own character and our own actions. So focus on being the best version of yourself and let the respect of others follow. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content on Stoic philosophy, and don't forget to share this video with anyone you know who could benefit from it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.